Welcome back to the shop. What's up, Twelver?
Howdy. How's your daddy in there?
He's great.
Cool, cool.
We're working on the Bel Air.
Today is the day. It just, took 2 years of everyone else's project. Now it's time for this one.
So, pretty stoked because a lot of things have been culminating on this car, like he said, for years, including the engine, which is almost done at the machine shop.
Yep.
We have prioritized basically every other engine, every customer, every friend, everything in front of all of the motors that we've had down there. I've had a couple of 12 valves, probably a 6.7 or 2 that we've been waiting on.
Well, and not just our engines, but all our project,
Yeah.
like your Scout.
We're not talking about that piece of trash. We're talking about this thing. It's finally time to get started. The sheet metal, the floor pans, the firewall, everything to make it into a car where we can start doing the other stuff like the transmission, drive shaft. The engine's sitting at the machine shop. It is a pretty full tilt LV7. The only thing that's left that's really factory on it, the heads are factory castings, fully modified, and the block itself. No sleeves, but it does have a Callie's crank, billet main caps, girdle, alternate firing order camshaft, billet headers. It's gonna be super gnarly. And right now the plan is to run a 48 RE behind it, using which they call like a
Duraflight.
It's a play on words, Torque Flight and Duramax. And so you use an adapter plate. You can see the billet piece. It's from Suncoast. Should be making somewhere in the neighborhood of around 900 horsepower, daily drive power, and be able to make 11 to 1200. We got custom wheels that were made for this thing with the largest offset. Those are American Racing.
We're also
nice
going to
wheels.
do parallel twins on this, which is something that we haven't done on anything else.
So it all sound a lot like a big block Chevrolet or like a hot rod gas engine. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about this car as we get it up in the air and what we're going to do. Same time. All right, guys, we're here with Brandon from Muscle Rod Shop. What's up, Brandon? And Twelver.
Howdy. How's your mama now?
Mom's doing great.
Good.
How's your mom?
My mom, she's good too.
Oh, good. Great.
My mom lives far away.
Is she good?
I think so.
Okay.
Okay.
Hopefully
Call your mom, Brandon.
make sure they're all good.
You're right.
We're getting Steven's chassis leveled up, set up to prepare to start working on firewall, floor pans, and all of that. And what we're doing right now is making sure that the chassis is completely settled in with weight on the suspension so that everything is sitting the way that it would be if it were to be weight on wheels. So we're going to start off with everything level and square.
Oh, my bad.
And from there, we're going to get started.
We're trying to get everything level side to side, the up and down in the back and front, and then we're going to set our engine angle. Transmission up or down so that we can start building the floor, the transmission tunnel, and the drive shaft tunnel.
Boom.
So this is angled back a long ways. So we got to bring that tail shaft up in order to see just how much we're going to have to cut out of here.
We're trying to balance out the engine rake and the pinion angle at the back. So we got a little bit of adjusting and looking to do before we find that spot that's going to be happy medium and
That is correct.
everything still work. You can see we've got our mocked up steering shaft here. Gives you a center line of where the column's going to come and where that it would intersect. It's pretty close. So it's looking like we're going to probably have to have like something stand off, a bearing, and
Well, yeah, and
break
remember
this up
too,
a
you
little
got your firewall. Your firewall now from here is going to sit back here. So it's a tunnel in there, and then we're going to have a bearing that holds it through the firewall right about here. So the total length of the steering shaft can only go to about here somewhere, and then we got to have some like a carrier bearing to get it around.
And this is running a rack. It looks like we have to notch the frame a little bit, maybe, right? Piece of pipe maybe through this. long way from now, but least of our concern at this point. We're trying to make sure this thing's sitting right and it's going to connect back to the rear drive shaft with enough functionality that this car, because it's on air ride, it's got a pretty decent range of motion, considering you measured the other day, you told me what it have, 16 inches of wheel travel or something in the back?
12 inches in the rear.
Yeah, so it has as much wheel travel in the back as like a truck with a decent suspension. So we're trying to figure all of that out at one time and get the pinion angle and the output shaft for those to match. That way the U-joint cancels out correctly when this car is at the ride height that it's gonna run at. It doesn't really matter how it's gonna be if it's all the way slammed to the ground, because you can't drive the car down the road with it slammed all the way to the ground for a couple of reasons: oil pan clearance, the sway rod in the front, and tire clearance to the fender well. But at ride height is where we're really focused on it. Then when we pull in somewhere, you're looking all cool, you lay frame, and it doesn't really matter if the geometry is perfect in that situation. You're just trying to look cool. So anyway, figuring that out, and then we're gonna start working on something. Well, this is what we got done in about, I don't know, it's been what, probably 4 or 5 hours?
Yeah, 4 or 5 hours of Brandon getting after it.
We were kind of just standing around dumb while I was filming, and then Steven was just trying to look cute.
Yeah, I was doing the best I could, my level best.
Brandon definitely, the guy is extremely skilled, and we feel very fortunate to have him as a buddy, because he's just showing us the ropes on how this stuff is done. So pretty exciting. Also really cool to have gotten started back on this car. It's been sitting for so long. This needed to happen forever. We've talked about it 5,000 times. So it was really cool to see the car starting to progress. Motors at the machine shop should be done anytime. We've had a complete motor ready to go a few times, and Steven's added some different parts to it.
Yep.
Some of which required additional machining, like the main capster billet got another crankshaft, so all the parts had to be balanced. That's basically being wrapped up, and we're fixing to be able to move a little bit further on this thing. One of the things that we're actually is kind of going to dictate some stuff is the steering column, where it comes through the firewall. This piece, we need to have basically we're having to connect the dots between the column and the rack. There's a bearing assembly, like a swivel support piece that's going to mount here. We're waiting on that piece to arrive, and a couple other things actually. Need to make sure we have enough room for the pedal assembly on the firewall where the steering column comes through, and then whatever little small details are there, because from here we start trimming the fat and making our way in to make the doghouse for the inside of the car. And it's going to be pretty large assembly here, but once all this stuff is kind of dictated, or once we find out what space we need to allocate for that, then we can sheet metal over to that to leave as much room on the passenger and driver side as possible, start building this thing back this direction. So waiting on a couple of parts to show up, and it's time to split also. So it's Friday morning. We are leaving tomorrow morning. It's about 5:30 right now. We'll be on a plane about this time tomorrow morning.
Yeah, the plane leaves at 7, so we'll be with all the folks at the airport anyway, enjoying airport breakfast, which we've always loved every time we've gone there.
Yeah, we're headed to Seattle, and we hit the ground over there, I think 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. We're gonna grab a rental car. We're going up to the Olympic National Forest, gonna go check some stuff out, maybe see a buddy or two while we're up there. Maybe not, I don't know, we're just playing it by
Lots
ear.
of ad-libbing, yeah.
If you haven't already and you want to support what we're doing, subscribe to the channel. Go check out our Instagram stuff at Holden_Bros, at Holden Bros Diesel on Instagram. We'll be posting stuff on there, and that'll come up on Facebook on our Holden Bros page, and even our personal stuff under Willie and Steven. And if you want to support what we're doing, go to bunkerbranding.com. And right now we actually have two things going on. We have the shirt that is promoting the trip that we're doing called Backroad Binders. If you search under Holden Brothers, you can find it. And we also have a 20% off bundle. So you can go get a hat, a shirt, a hoodie. It's a whole little swag pack, and it's 20% off. So if you're looking for a cool Christmas gift or a birthday gift or something like that, if you're a fan of the channel or you know somebody who is, it'd be a cool gift. And it definitely helps us out to keep doing the stuff that we're doing. So we got the Bel Air whenever we get back home. We have a couple of other projects that we're going to show you guys. We got a couple of videos in the video bank that we're working on that are going to come out here pretty soon.
More stuff coming.
We're going to try to keep up on YouTube as much as possible with the trip as well. Our plan is to be able to post with as little latency as possible. We're going to land up there tomorrow. We're hoping to start filming stuff and within a few days have a video that we can post. Y'all stay tuned. Thanks everybody for all the support. I hope you guys are digging what we're doing. We're doing our very best to stay on top of all this stuff and try to bring as much cool content and build as much cool stuff and do as much cool stuff as we possibly can and keep you guys along for the ride with us as we do it.
If you see us out on the road, don't be afraid to say hi.
We got 3,000 miles to cover. We'll be coming across Northern California and through Nevada and Utah and all that jazz. So if you're along that route, drop a comment. If you see us, come say what's up. We'll be at the IH Tierra Fall Rally in Grass Valley, California from October 11th through the 13th. If you're around that area,
We're actually going to have
check
like
us
a
out.
booth and some merch.
Hope to see y'all out there.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay, until next time, lay.